Hey everyone, you're listening to an episode of The Artist Corner featuring Shane Poole as our Artist of the Month. Shane is the talent behind One Sixth Salon, and you can find him online on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and join his Patreon. All those links are in the show notes. We hope you enjoy the show, available on YouTube and YouTube Podcast. All right, here we go.
I shaved for this.
Oh, there you go.
You shaved. Shoot, I've been growing this out for like a year now.
Well, hello, everyone. And, welcome to our Artist of the Month. Our very first artist we have here with us is Shane Poole. So, Shane, tell us what you do. What is your specialty?
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. So my specialty is in high-end figure hair work. That's where I originally started, and here lately, the past couple of years, I've been dipping my hands into some painting, and so basically what I do is I take, and I'm not even prepared, but here we go. I take sculpts that people send me, and I'll Dremel down this hair, and we'll put like real hair on it and give her a paint job. I've got horrible lighting. I am sorry for anyone.
You're good.
That's okay.
So hopefully we can see that.
It's perfect. And you have great photos of that one on your Instagram. So if you can't see it quite well on the video, you can.
Yes, all of my photos are on Instagram, Facebook. One Sixth Salon is all my handles on everything. Shane Poole is my private page on Facebook, but I do share a lot of content there as well. I try to keep, between all the platforms, I try to keep it the pictures somewhat different. That way you aren't seeing the same pictures when you switch over from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, all of those.
That's smart.
So I am specializing in hair rooting.
That's incredible. The work that you do is so cool, and I love the real hair. I think it just really elevates a head sculpt and a figure totally and completely. How did you get into that?
Ooh, how did I get into it? So, well, I'll have to take you back to like 2016, 2015.
Oh, let's go.
I had got my first Superman figure, Hot Toys Superman figure for Man of Steel. And, I'd seen somewhere on Facebook somebody did hair work for a Joker. I think his name was Sinag. And so I reached out to him. I was like, hey, man, you do awesome work. Is there any way you can do hair on my Superman? And he said, no, he's not really comfortable with it. He doesn't want to ruin my head sculpt. And, I was like, okay. So the hunt was on. I was determined to find somebody to do this. Well, I didn't find anybody. Everybody I asked always said no. So it was a no from every person. So somehow along the way, I made it onto the Walking Dead page, and I'm a huge fan of Walking Dead. Shout out to my Walking Dead fans. There is a woman by the name of Tosh Wall who I have been speaking to for years now, and she gave a little trust in me, and she told me, dude, you should go ahead and try it. And I was like, nah, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah, all the seeds of doubt that you have in your head. And she just kept on me, and one day, I did my first Rick Grimes, and it was a first Rick Grimes. It was far from anything worthy of looking at, but it was a start. And so from there, I just kept practicing and practicing. Before time come along, I was doing my own stuff, and after I posted a couple of times, I started getting some requests. Hey, can you do hair on this? Hey, can you do hair on that? And, I'd be more than happy to, and that's kind of how I started getting into the hair world. And then there's so many people I need to give shout outs to, but, they know who they are, who helped me along the way. Jacob Reimer is one of them. Without him, I wouldn't be able to hold a airbrush gun.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, so when did it become, so part-time it starts and then it becomes a full-time gig. So when did you officially start full-time and this is all you do?
So in 2017, I quit my job of 10 years being a project manager at a commercial glass company. And so it was a huge leap of faith because I honestly did not know I mean, I could see it possible, but it's still a huge leap of faith. You just never know. I think at the time I was backed up maybe 3 months at the time back in 2017. So when I quit and started One Sixth Salon,
Uh-huh.
I never felt better. It
Yeah.
was a huge blessing for me. It was a huge, walk by faith, not by sight type ordeal. And I was lucky enough for God to lead me down this journey and be able to do that. And after the first year of working full time on hair work, I was able to close commissions, and I have not opened my commissions since 2019.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. That's
You're
pretty amazing. It sounds like you need a clone.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it.
Yeah.
There's so many hair artists in the game, and people often tell me, "Oh, you don't want to do this, or you don't want to send this to someone else," because I always send, I'm fully booked. So if I know one artist is doing good on a certain head sculpt, I'll send the client to that artist and be like, here's you some work if you're looking. I mean, it's going to be years before I can touch anything new anyway, so plenty enough love to go around.
That's a huge blessing, and that's something that's really, I think this community is kind of tight knit like that. And
Oh
when
yeah.
yeah, I think that's a huge deal. And if somebody knows somebody else who can do something better or has a free opening, shoving them that spot is just good for the entire game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we do for, I mean, I say what we do for a living. What I do for a living isn't on, colleges. You don't see, okay,
Yeah.
let's make toys in future businesses. It's just one
I
of
know
the
all
low.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah,
So I hope to, I've got um, tutorials on Patreon, that you know, they sign up to my Patreon, and of course, it gives me money. But at the same time, I try to let people know here's how I do my method. Um, Maybe you can take a little bit of what I do and tweak some stuff here and there and come out with your method and be just as good. I hope you're going to be better than me. I don't ever consider myself up on a high pedestal. There's always room for upcoming artists, and them upcoming artists are hungry now. They're
yeah,
hungry.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
gotta make sure that you've got the drive first off if you want to go into it full time.
Yeah, that's kind of the big deal. I mean, this is not something that's easy, and I just from personal experience, it's like when I do a really good like custom something where I've broken something and then created something,
Hmm.
typically the customer doesn't see the fact that I've broken 7 or 8 units trying to make that one perfect piece.
Right,
Um,
right. That's got a little bit of kit bashing into it. You just you pull things from here, pull things from there, and before you know it, you've got a figure. I'll show you something. Let's see if I can get to it easy enough. Uh, yeah. So here was the very first figure I did like 8 years ago. And it looks so horrible, but I got to keep it as a
It looks
memory for
horrible.
my
It looks horrible to
company.
you, but to us who can never do that, that looks
that's
awesome.
pretty awesome. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Tony May, another artist in the community, he's always said, "Remember where you came from," and that was
Yep,
great advice.
that
yeah,
is.
yeah. And you progressed over the years. What have your techniques been as far as progression goes? So you started there, and now you're where you're at. Like, how'd you get
So,
there?
so when I first started, I put hair on and I would put it down forward and then flop it back for people who had like hairline showing because I didn't know how to do this your hairline and not show glue, other than paint the glue, and I've done that. Here's a Rick Grimes kind of. I know it's going to be hard for you to see, but the hairline is absolute. I mean, it's not trash. It's just dated, Um, so one of the things that set me apart with the 1/6 community and my work is the ability to do hairlines and still be able to see skin tone through the first couple of millimeters of that hairline without any visible glue showing at all. And you know, Jacob gave me the type of glue I should use, And, I took that glue and I ran with it. And, now I'm able to do like full beards that can show skin tone through it. Like here's a John Wick, but I don't know if it's gonna grab or not, but you can see skin tone through the hairs of the real beard. And you can't make that happen on everything. Like for instance, John Wick Hot Toys, they've painted his beard, so you're not gonna see as much skin tone through the beard when I do the hair work. Unless you pay for a full paint job and then, we can get it. But uh that is one of the big things that sets me apart, or I think that sets me apart, as well as I try to have good customer service. I might not get back to everybody, and I know I'm not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be some that just, I'm sorry, I was having, bad day, or I can't keep up with everybody. That's for sure.
It's a hard deal, especially running your own show.
Oh,
To do
absolutely.
stuff. I mean, trying to keep track of all the customer service, all the messages, all the yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, a lot
It's
of people don't realize this, you hear it in the groups, oh, you should always be able to check your personal message and respond to people. Well, you don't understand. I've got 20 of them
yep,
that I have not read. But at the same time, somebody's got to run the front desk of getting quotes out. Somebody's got to
right.
run the shipping department and packing department. Somebody's got to do the work. It's a one-man show, and I wish I could move faster, but I can't. But I tell my clients, I work strictly on quality, not quantity. I don't care how
Yep,
much I get paid for. I've made money. I've been poor.
yeah.
My deal is I'm at peace with where I'm at, so I work until I achieve what I'm looking for in that head sculpt, if you will.
Yeah, until you're happy with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I bet your customers know and appreciate that about the work you do, right?
I would sure
They're
hope
willing to
so.
wait. They're willing to wait for you, which I think is awesome. Something I'd love to know about is like a really hard head sculpt or a really hard build that you had to do. What did that look like for you, and then how did you kind of overcome that?
A really hard build. Well, John Wick is really hard. Um,
He's got a very particular hair. He
he's got
does.
very particular hair, and if you do it wrong, you're not going to make him look good. And who doesn't like Keanu Reeves at the end of the day? Or,
Nice human being.
He's the best.
Tormund from Game of Thrones. I don't know if y'all know who that is or not,
Mhm.
but he is another hard hair job because he actually has like 3 or 4 different colors in the hair. So a
Right.
lot of times when I do hair, I start at the bottom and I go up. That way you're covering all the glue.
Yeah.
And you know, when I do hair, when we start adding hair colors, it's like doing the head sculpt 2, 3, 4 times on one sculpt because you've got to do a row of brown, then you've got to do a row of a lighter color to pop with that brown, and then you want to add maybe some blonde in there to give some blonde highlights. Um, and then you got your beard work, and beard work takes forever for me because I literally plant them like 1 to 5 hairs at a time.
Wow.
And so I could be working on a John Wick beard for 40 to 50 hours. I mean, the whole week might be just a beard work. And it's not like I could just put a full beard on it. I've got to be able to see through it. You got to be able to see the skin through it, but still not see the shininess of the glue. So that is probably one of my harder builds. And that and Daenerys, you start getting into braids and those things.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn in braids. I never knew there were so many braids.
There's so
I
many
never
braids.
had enough hair for braids.
You could have braided your beard at
I
one
could have
point.
braided my beard at
It was
one
pretty
point.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You can do a little French twist, French braid.
There you
It's
go.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
next time.
There you go, looking like Thor from Endgame, huh?
That's right. That's right. That's what I want to do for sure.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one quick question on the hair. What is the hair material actually like? How do you source it, or what kind of material do you use for the hair?
Yeah, sure. Great question. I get this question all the time. What kind of hair do I use? I personally use Tibetan lamb fur. There's a couple of different manufacturers as well as you can find some on Etsy, on eBay, on your regular, on the web. That's I've heard people use a lot, but I've been always stuck with Tibetan and lamb fur, and there's not many jobs that I've come across where it has not worked for me until you get into long hair. Now, Tibetan and lamb fur has only got so much length until we start having to switch to other options.
Okay.
So here's a question I just thought of. So you do head sculpts, right? Have you ever done anything else on the body? Like taken a body and done body hair?
I have.
Oh, Brian.
Let's see here.
I have a funny story about a Wolverine. That's why I'm asking.
Now we're dating back like 5 years from now, but I have done chest hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's too bright. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but yeah. So those, aside from the hair and the beard, not many times have I done it, but
A few times.
if someone's willing to pay me to do it, I'll do it.
So let me just tell you my thing. So I bought a Wolverine custom from somebody, and he's like, it's got real hair. It's got real hairy legs and real hairy chest. And I got this thing, and I'm not even kidding. It looked like he shaved his hair and then threw it on the figure. It was amazing.
Amazing in a not amazing
I'm
way.
just like, what? What did you do?
Oh, no.
Did it look good?
No, it was terrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, the head sculpt looked good.
Man,
It didn't have hair on it, but the real, yeah, it looked like he shaved his feet knuckles
Ew.
and threw it on
So
there.
I've learned a lot over the years, and there's a lot of techniques that I would like to try. A guy named Christian Orlo hired me a couple of years ago to do a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And I never did finish it because I don't like how bulky the arms look,
Right.
You can't see any definition in there, so if I'm going to go back and I'm going to try this again one day with a different technique because I've just started doing some flocking.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what flocking is or not, but it's a different technique that requires fur, and a lot of people, depending on what you use your flocking for, you'll find it on like dashes, car dashes,
Right.
inside jewelry boxes is like felt
Okay.
flocking.
I found myself flocking quite a bit.
Oh, you know what flocking is?
No, I'm like shag carpet, right? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So this is a hat for a penguin project I've got going on, and it is flocked, so it looks almost velvety. So this is what I'm saying. If I go back to do the Super Saiyan 4 Goku one day, I'm gonna try it this method and see if we can get a better result.
That's
Yeah.
cool, super cool.
You never know what works, so you just gotta, you never know what works. But if you have a vision and you see it, and you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen.
And you'd never say never. Yeah.
You're right.
So my next question for you, I feel like you've already kind of given us some good nuggets of advice, but what advice would you give to someone who's maybe in your same spot that you were back in 2014-15? Like, hey, I want hair on this head sculpt, but nobody can do it because they're either busy or they just say no. Like, what advice would you give to this person who's just starting out?
I would say know what you're looking for and go after that. If you're wanting to do the whole figure in one day, you're not going to get there. You need to break it up in pieces. Start, if you want to paint, go after a cheap airbrush. If you want to do hair, sign up to my Patreon account.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
No, but do
That's
it,
a
yeah.
good deal. I mean, yeah.
Just gotta, you gotta fit a plug in there every now and then.
Yeah.
For sure.
But my biggest tip to them would be don't listen to what the people say about your work when you're just starting out.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's very good. So if somebody wanted to do, say, a Superman head sculpt with real hair and they were going to try it themselves, how many duplicates should they buy when they start?
Well, if you're anything like me, you're probably going to have 15 or so,
Or so.
Well, what I did was I had like, I went to eBay and I bought
Yep.
Yeah.
cheap
Knockoffs.
sculpts that don't even, old school. I don't want to say anything, so make some people mad because you never know. In someone else's eyes, that sculpt
Right.
might
Yeah.
look good, so you got to
Yeah.
kind of pick your flaws there as well. But no, you definitely need hair or sculpts that you can practice on, and you don't really need 15. You can get by with like two. You get done doing a hair, rip the hair off of the same sculpt and try it again.
Yeah.
It definitely can come off.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, I think that's good advice. I also heard you say, like, be hungry for what you're doing, which I think is great advice too. If it's really what you're passionate about, go for it. Give it your all. And I think to not listen to what people are saying about you is such a good one because we get so lost in our own criticism.
Social media.
Too much.
I've had my dealings with social media, and let me
Yeah.
tell you, and I do have haters too, but I thank God for my haters because they do give me a reason to still pray every night with the
Yep.
words that
For
they
sure.
say on social media.
And they boost your algorithm.
And they boost your
They're
algorithm.
interacting with your
Listen,
content, which is good.
they might not push like, but they're still
Yeah.
commenting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
haters are still a fan in a really weird way.
They're still
Yes.
watching it.
They
Yeah.
are watching you.
Yeah. And you have interesting content, and I think that your stuff is absolutely amazing. I gotta say, like personally, that John Wick head sculpt you did is probably the one cherry that I have that's like I'll never be able to really buy again. If that makes sense. It's like that one
Right.
piece that I went after, and it was worth it, worth every penny.
And,
So,
and that's why I do it, is to give you something that you just can't go out to the store and buy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's something that I hope, as you go through the years and you keep them through the years, you'll look back and be like,
yep.
I still like them. I
That's
still like
exactly
them.
that's exactly right. That's awesome. Yeah, man. Super cool.
Right. Another thing to the new people coming up, I know we touched on, don't worry about what people say, but as long as you're your own worst enemy, you're not gonna really even hear what people say, because you've already told yourself that so many times, anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can only go up from there. You just keep
Right.
practicing and practicing. And in my first sculpt, my first 100 sculpts have been. I look at them now and I'm like, dang, they're old, But at the same time, that was the best I could do with the skills I had at that point in time,
Right.
and the price reflected it as I grow through the years.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 years, I do give myself a little raise. Everybody's got to.
Everybody's got
Yes,
to.
you've
Yeah.
learned so much over those 2 or 3 years, right? You've got to get yourself a little bit more.
Right.
So for somebody who's coming in and looking for a custom sculpt, as far as let's just say somebody with just hair on top of the head, let's say a standard sculpt, how much time does your average head sculpt take you to root?
All depends on the hairstyle.
Right.
If there's a hairline showing, that hairline's going to take me a full extra day. If there's not a hairline showing, I would say a good basis, because I work on many projects at once,
In time,
and
yep.
I would say a good week,
Good solid
because
weight.
there is downtime.
Yep. Of course.
You might be waiting for glue to dry here, so you're going to pop over here and style some hair, and now this hair's got to dry, so I'm going to drop back over here where the glue dried, and it's just always of how you keep yourself busy.
Yep. Wow. So a solid week is pretty much a good expectation as far as like the amount of time it would take you to do something, and you're booked
For a
out
simple sculpt.
for a solid year again.
Yeah, for a simple sculpt. Now you start getting to bearded ones like a John Wick, that's going to take a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. But that shows your craft. I mean, when you started, that same sculpt, that John Wick, would have taken you a month, 2 months.
Or a week, or 3 days.
You would have just done it faster.
It seems like, as long as I've been doing this, you'd think I'd be getting faster and faster. And I've always in the back of my mind, I'm like, time is money. You've got to work faster. But, when I start working faster is when it starts to take a downgrade in quality, So I can't just base it on working faster. Now, here's what I'll do. I'll give myself a raise and still work that same time limit, That way I can still pay my bills, but I'm giving you the best quality that I absolutely can at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I love it. I have another question for you. So what do you see as the future of, this aspect of action figure kit bashing, like rooted hair? What do you see as the progression of it? What is it going to look like in 2 years? And then how do you hope to contribute to the community? It sounds like you already have your Patreon. Here's another plug for it, which I think is a great contribution to the community. But what do you see for yourself in the future?
Well, I see the future of the industry first off going to silicone.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before we get there. You got companies like InArt that are coming out, and they did a great job with their Joker. They're killing it as far as what the basic eye can see in the collectors. So they're already taking steps to go further than what, say, Hot Toys are doing, giving us molded hair. They're actually, they've kind of got the customer base right now because they're offering molded hair and rooted hair, because there are people that prefer molded hair and just will not touch rooted hair, and then you've got the opposite of that, people who prefer the rooted hair over the sculpted hair. So they're catching both clients, and with silicone I don't think you're going to be able to catch both clients, so it's a smart move on InArt. But the future, I do see eventually we'll get to silicone type status on most of our stuff, I'm sure. Or at least the high end stuff. And I forgot the second question on that.
How do you hope to contribute to the community of, rooted hair kit bashers in a couple years? What do you hope to continue to give to everyone who loves you?
As long as I continue to give smiles, I'm happy.
There you go.
At the end of the day, what makes my job worth it to me is hearing the feedback that my art gives the clients. I'm not going to say any names, but there's this one person who got his sculpt couldn't have been at a better timing in his life, and it really actually saved him. And like I said, I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but there is things that I don't see that I give clients. And there are things that they don't even tell me, but they keep to themselves, I'm sure. But, at the end of the day, if I can still give people smiles, hey, I can't complain.
That's the best thing you could possibly do. And I think that you said something right. I mean, right there, it's not just your work, but we've taken it now from an action figure to a piece of one-off artwork that only that customer has, because everything that you do is hand done and it's a one-off.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. It is it's definitely different, Definitely different.
Who would have thunk?
Right?
So is this still enjoyable to you, even after it's a job now, full time? Or do you feel, or do you feel like sometimes like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into?
That is a great question. And this is another one for them new artists that are coming up. Enjoy your collection while you can, because it's not going to stay that way.
Yeah.
I don't ever get to work on my collection anymore. Ever. I've got a box filled with, Yunzel parts,
Oh, wow.
so many expensive stuff that, I don't even have time to put clothes on a figure right now.
Wow.
What really stinks is, back when I was doing this part-time, I would go to work full-time and I would do that. And then when I got home, I could work on head sculpts because it was something different. Now I'm putting in 10 hours every day, and I get off work, the last thing I want to do is go work on my own stuff, which I've already been doing for 10 hours.
Right.
So I don't hardly ever get to work on my own figures. Now, I still collect, most of them, as long as they come put together, in a box like Hot Toys, where all I got to do is take them out and put them on the shelf.
Throw them on the shelf? Oh, that looks good.
Perfect.
When I got to spend 3 hours, putting clothes on a figure and tying this tie, and everything's got to be perfect. It's just so hard to find time to work on my own stuff anymore. But the joy is still there. The joy
Yeah.
is still there.
Yeah, we still work with a great medium that most people had no idea existed. So
Yep.
it's pretty awesome. It's pretty special.
And I've got a convention tomorrow that I rented a artist booth at. So I'm gonna be taking a few tools that I work with to hopefully get into kids' eyes that hey, you can be a toy maker one day. Because
Yeah.
that's something that I wish someone had told me back when I was 13.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have went for it at that point in time. Because I've always collected toys throughout my entire childhood.
Me too. Me.
I always thought it was just a dead end. I always thought it was just a dead end gig. Like only these multi-million-dollar companies can do this, and to an extent, yeah, that might be right as far as your Walmart toys and everything like that, but they got to come from somewhere, and nobody told me that either. You know what I mean? So I am going to try to focus on new artists here coming up and give them as much of tips that I've learned along the way. Now, you aren't going to get all the tips from me because there is some still things you've got to work out. I'll give you the materials to do it, but I'm not going to say exactly how to do it. You've got to do some things.
Got to
Yeah.
create your own technique.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But I'm that's something that is not seen in this industry very often. Is
Not at all.
doing that.
Not at all. Most people don't speak, I want to say, the same languages where the toys come from and the end user and the artists in between. So there's a huge disconnect between production, end user, and then the middleman, if you want to make it better.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome, Shane. We just have a couple questions left for you before we're going to do like a fun little fire round of fun questions. I know.
Karate chop.
Ooh. I'd love to know, and maybe we already know this answer to this question, but what's your favorite project or some of your favorite projects you've ever worked on?
Well, the favorite project I've worked on, it might not have the best likeness as it was a couple years ago, but it still holds a true heart, dear to my heart, is, and this was the very first figure I have ever collaborated with and made.
Oh, I saw this one on your Instagram. Awesome.
This one, it really reads to me because I was able to actually go meet Helen Slater, and I was able to give her her copy of her figure, so she's got a copy of her figure as well in her home. I've also heard that Linda Carter, right? Wonder Woman? Yeah. She also has my work as well. So those are a couple of awesome memories that I'll always hold truly and dearly.
That is cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't think a lot of people get to do that, or have the opportunity to do that. Have something very specific made for a character and the actress behind it, and be able to be like, here you go, look what I did.
Yeah,
it's awesome. You can't keep it.
Exactly. Hey, I was just happy. I was starstruck at the time.
I bet.
I bet, man.
I talked to her actually like a couple times. We chatted on the webpage during COVID time when we weren't just allowed to go anywhere or have Comic-Cons or anything like that. So I chatted with her, told her what I was going to do. So a couple years went by and she was finally in the area, and I was like, I am going to that. And we made it there, and that was such a blessed and humbling experience for me.
That's pretty epic, man.
Well,
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So one of our last questions here before we do our fire round, can you tell us about any upcoming projects or commissions that you have that you're super excited about? Or can you not?
Upcoming projects. Yeah, I've got a few upcoming projects that I suppose I probably should have to share one of them, huh? So here's the deal. I'm so tired of asking the community what do they want.
Yeah.
It's almost in every page you see. What do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? You want give a list. What figures do you want? I don't care about that anymore. I'm gonna do what I do, and if people relate, then that's cool. We'll make you a figure.
That's awesome.
I am gonna be coming up with which project to tell.
Oh, there's a whole list. Get that. Whoosh.
Well, we know I'm working on a penguin project, which is the
Yeah.
mayor penguin, mayor outfit. So I think the second one, I am going to do another penguin project as well. And it'll be in his like final battle scene with Batman.
Hmm.
And there may or may not be some flocked penguins.
Ooh.
Oh. Ooh.
And
Hello.
the next hint I could say was this movie always comes on every year around Christmas time. And we'll leave that one there because
I love it.
that one's kind of close to the heart.
Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase.
You're gonna leave people thinking here, Shane. We're gonna be excited to
It
see
could
what you
be.
got.
You never know.
Never
Yeah.
know. Wow, that's awesome. All right.
Well, Brian has some fun questions he's gonna ask you. Just,
Let's do it.
Basically, yeah, let's do it. So these are going to be questions that are asked of everybody that we interview, and it's just a quick answer.
Help
I'm going to
us-
read them quick.
help people get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Game on. You ready?
Ready.
Number 1. What is your favorite movie?
Superman. Oh, I guess I should be more specific. Man of Steel.
I gotcha. Number 2. What is your favorite holiday?
Easter.
Number 3. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to go to the Olympics.
There you go.
There you go.
Number 4. What profession, job would you never want to do?
Concrete.
Number 5. What's your favorite podcast?
This one.
Good answer,
answer.
Shane.
Number 6. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox.
Number 7. If you were a weapon, what kind of weapon would you most want to be?
The Kryptonian spear from Batman vs. Superman.
That's a good answer. Wow. Specific.
Very specific.
Number 8. If you were a menu item at a restaurant, what would your entree be called? Final answer.
There you go. I like it.
I don't know about that one. I would have to say something along the seafood line, like a lobster. Shane's hairless lobster. How about that?
Hairless lobster. I love it. It had to have
that's
air in there
perfect.
somewhere.
All right. Number 9. What is your favorite curse word?
Can I say it?
Sure.
Fuck.
And number 10. Do you have a zombie apocalypse escape plan?
Whew. No, I do not.
Okay.
Should work on that.
I'm just gonna go about it like Rick did, and just however it comes is however it comes.
There you go. Perfect.
That's a good plan.
That's funny. I think that was a great interview, dude. You're wonderful. I appreciate
Thank you for it. I really appreciate it. And everybody, whenever you're doing kit bashing, check out Black Ops Toys first.
Yes. Do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shane. It has been wonderful to get to know you, to learn more about your process. And everybody, follow him on Instagram at One Sixth Salon. There's underscores in between the words, so make sure you check him out.
That's awesome.
Thank you for having me. This was an awesome experience. I look forward to the next one. I look forward to watching all of your artists of the months coming up, as I know this is getting back to rolling. And, hey, you guys are awesome people. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you very much.
Shane.
That's awesome.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please share the show. Share it on your social media and share it with your friends. We don't really care how you share it, just share the show. Until next time.